All right, so we are getting ready to play some Mythic Americas here. And we actually have a Aztec starter box versus an Inuit starter box.
Get the bears in frame.
The bears are the most important, for sure.
The bears gotta be in frame.
Gotta have the bears. So we have a Mr. Brandon from the Age of Planet who's going to be our rules person.
I'm a rules guy.
He's a
I play
rules
games.
guy.
I run things.
That's
Let's do it.
That's what they do on the YouTube. So how do we start a game of Mythic Americas?
So,
Well, first, let's go over the forces.
Yeah.
So I know my force pretty well, so what I guess I can talk about that. So I have a High Priest here with 2 bodyguards. So those are just to make sure that he doesn't die. And they can also like punch things, but you know that's not much. The High Priest himself is good because he's got a magic heal and he's also got a bunch of magic spells, which is awesome. Behind them we have some Bound Dead, which are just zombie chaff, and the leader also has a max, so he can hit pretty hard. And again, these are just kind of more health for the enemy to get through. We got Eagle Warriors who are wielding bows, and they can shoot things, and it's pretty cool. And then we have the Bound Dead Marauders, who are big, tanky, and hit hard with huge max. So they're awesome, and they do a lot of damage. Do you know anything about the Inuit army? Because I don't.
Absolutely.
Tell me about
So we
the
have
army.
3 Nanook Guardians. That's the bears. Then we have 3 units of Arvik Tuvok. 2 with harpoons, 1 with bows.
Alright.
And then we have a Tuvok Master with 2 Tuktu Tuvok bodyguards.
All right, so those are going to be, that's the general, right?
Exactly. That's your general and his bodyguards. And then 3 ranged units.
Nice.
And the bears.
So you have just bows just for damage output, and then are those harpooners are the ones that can push me around and stuff?
Yeah, well, they pull you in.
Nice.
And then all of them have daggers.
Okay. And then polar bears for mauling.
Exactly.
Nice. All right. So how do we get started, Mr. Brandon?
well, the first thing that you guys are going to do is roll a d10 each. You got to roll off to see who is going to play the ever-living and who is going to play the ever-changing. One of the, I think, more unique facets is that you don't have like an attacker-defender. You just have 2 different groups of people that are fighting for different causes. So you got to each roll a d10, and whoever rolls a higher value will get to pick if they want to be ever-changing or ever-living.
And that is all part of the mythical backstory of Mythic Earth, which we'll talk about more later. But for now, let's roll some d10s. I got a 1.
Ooh, I doubled your roll.
You got a 2.
Wow. All right,
Do you want ever living or ever changing?
I'm going to do ever-changing.
That's,
All right.
I've played 100% of games as ever-changing. So now that Kevin got to pick that he's going to be the ever-changing, Jeff gets to pick the scenario.
Right. So we're gonna do construct.
Build altars for the gods.
Build altars. So tell us how that works. Normally
Yeah,
there
so-
would be secondary objectives that are kind of secret, but
Yeah,
we're gonna.
and faction derived, right? So each faction, or each way will have their own different secondaries that you choose from, which is pretty cool.
Right. But we're gonna keep it simple and just play a primary objective, just for the purposes of learning here.
Yeah.
But tell us how build altars.
So build altars for the gods is a very simple scenario. You can score up to 1 point per turn, and at the end of the turn, you score a single point if you have either built an altar on your opponent's table half and are still in base contact with the altar you built, or if you have charged and destroyed an altar that is on your table half, presumably built by an opponent.
Right. So you can destroy the ones that your opponent builds for a point, but you have to do that in melee. You can't shoot it.
Correct. Yeah, you have to take a charge action on it to destroy it, or you can build an altar on your opponent's half, and you can do both if you want, but you only get 1 point regardless for either building or destroying.
Which I learned the hard way yesterday, but
Yeah.
here we are.
Yep. So you gotta run in to your opponent's side real quick, and then start building altars to the gods.
And now there's a few things that are going
For
to
the gods, I
change
should
depending
say.
on our alignment at the beginning. So what other choices do we have to make here?
Normally you would choose 2 things. You choose what secondaries you're going to take, and you would choose which blessings you're going to use. So both alignments have 9 blessings that you can choose from. You choose 6 at the start of the game, and you can use them at any time, but you can only use 1 per turn. And the games are always 6 turns.
And these are going to be a bunch of like special abilities that let you do fun things, and we'll kind of talk about these as they come up. But we'll off camera we'll make some selections here, and come back. All right, so we have made some selections for our blessings, the ones for turn abilities. I also have access to 3 spells with my general based on my alignment, and again, we'll kind of talk about that as it comes up. Mr. Brandon, what next?
So now that we picked the main scenario and we've decided who's ever living and ever changing, the next thing we got to do is get all of our unit activation die. So unit activation die is like kind of like the action interaction mechanic of the game. Most units have 1, but there are a couple that have 2. So you're going to get a d6 for every unit activation die you have in your roster, and then you're going to roll that whole pool of dice to try and decide who's going to have to deploy first and who's going to deploy second.
Yep. And my army is a little bit weird, so it actually comes with 4 units, 1 for the Eagle Warriors, 1 for the General, 1 for the Bounded, and 1 for the Marauders. I think the Inuit is going to have 5, is that right?
Yes.
So-
Because I have 5 units in total.
5 units total. So we're going to take all of our d6s. This is the only thing d6s are used for the most part, and we will roll them.
Did anyone get a 6?
I got a 6. So put them in, we're going to kind of put them in descending order to get an idea of the alternating deployment here. So you got 3, 2...
3, 2, 2, 1, 1.
Okay, so I have a 6, which is going to be the first, yeah?
Yep. So whoever gets more 6s is going to go ahead and choose who deploys first. In this case, it's Jeff. So Jeff, would you like to deploy? Now, in all future turns, this roll is basically just going to give you your activation pool, where you'll start at the highest number 6. You'll start with whoever's going first and then alternate until you're out of 6s. Then you'll start with 5s, and then 4s, and then 3s, and 2s, and 1s. But during the first round of the game, you're going to use these dice to deploy, and then the units will activate in the order that you deployed them.
Right.
Not necessarily to the exact. If you roll multiple, like 6s, for instance, when it's your turn to activate first, you have to pick one of your 6s. So it doesn't have to be the exact order, but you're going to get a little bit of extra information as to your opponent's activation order in the first round. On all future rounds, they'll do this exact same roll for the units that they have left, but then they'll just alternate numbers at a time, with ties going to the person who didn't activate last.
Yep, and so in that way, it's got kind of an alternating activation, but not strictly just back and forth. There can be kind of double activations, but you're going to know about it ahead of time. It's not totally blind, which is pretty cool. So I will take my 6, and I will choose a mile to deploy, and I believe we have 12 inches. Is that right?
So you normally would, for the incursion game, you have played on 3x3. I think this is 3x4, so you probably should add 6 inches extra and deploy at 18, so you're the right distance away.
Sounds good. Yeah. All right, so I have my Eagle Warriors deployed right behind the temple in the middle there. Next up, I have a 5, so I will have to deploy 2 in a row. And after that, I will use my 5 to deploy my Banded up on the left flank here. And now we go back to the numbers, and my next one's a 2, but you have a 3, so you'll have to deploy now. All right, so we have a couple of harpoon guys covering the left flank. We're gonna have a little situation over here, so that'll be interesting. Back over to the 2s, so we both have the same number of 2s, but the tiebreaker will be whoever went last. The other player goes. So I will actually deploy the next unit. So I will take my 2 and just put the rotors right in the middle. Over to you. All right, so we got some archers in the forest. Back over to me. And I'm just going to put the boss right in the middle. Taunting you with his fist. Over to you. Finish up. So the final deployment, we have my Eagles, my General, Banded Marauders, and some Banded over on the side, and then we have harpoons, polar bears, archers, harpoons, and the boss right in the middle. Looks good. Mr. Brandon,
Hello.
what now?
Well, now that we're all deployed, we're going to go ahead and start the activations. So we're going to do this in the same order, activating 1 unit at a time. When a unit activates, it gets to take either 2 single actions or 1 double action. every time you assign an activation dice to it. In this case, we're not playing with any double activation units or double unit activation dice units. So we're literally just going to basically do the same deployment order, plus or minus tied dice. So Jeff is going to start activating his Eagle Warriors with the 6.
All right. So I will activate my Eagle Warriors, and what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take a focus shot at your harpoon man back there. What a focus shot does is it counts as a long action. Is that right?
Focus shot is a long action or double action.
But it's giving you're right. So it's going to be my whole thing. I won't get any other actions, but it's going to give me a +1 to my shoot skill. So hopefully I'll be able to land a couple of shots. Now, unfortunately, there's going to be some cover in the way. So that will actually impose a -1. So we'll be back to our flat stat. So in addition to that, they are actually just past 10 inches away, and for a bow, they have 2 different range bands. You have short range, which is up to 10 inches, and then long range, which is 11 to 20. And if they're in long range, it's going to impose another -1. So I'm actually going to be at a net -1 to my stat. My shoot is a 5, and in this game you have to roll under. So each model is going to have 1 die, so I will be rolling 5 dice, and I'm looking for 4s or under. So I'll roll my dice. That's pretty good. So I got 4 hits. So now you're gonna roll a save based on your save stat for each of the hits that goes through.
So my save is 5.
Failed 3.
So normally, if the weapon had a strength, it would actually be a penalty on his save, but in this case, it's just a flat save. So that takes out 3 models, and then you're also going to take a brave marker, which this is kind of like a morale status. So every time you take damage at range, anytime I roll a hit against you at range, you're going to take 1, a total of 1. There's no more or no less. In melee, it's going to be per casualty. Or per damage that's imposed, but for ranged, it's just you take 1. And then that is going to make it harder for you to activate your models later, and it can potentially have you fleeing off the board and all kinds of fun things. So you're going to remove 3 models?
I have the hardy special rule, so I do not remove any models till the end of the turn.
Go
the unit
gross.
is fully wiped out.
Gross. All right, so they're going to stick around until they bleed out at the end of the turn. And now we will go back over to me, because the next one is my 5. Okay, so my Bound Dead are actually about 13 inches away from any enemies up there, and if I just walk up, I will get shot to death. So when you charge into melee, you move double your move stat, and their move stat is 5. 5 is a pretty common move stat in this game. So I can't actually clear that distance, but what I can do, I can use my blessing called Energize, which actually allows me, as soon as I assign them an order, I can actually allow them to take a single move. So they're going to use the blessing to advance 5, and then we are going to charge. If I charge into the harpooners, they're going to get to throw harpoons at me as I come in, and then punch me back in melee. If I charge the bears, they don't get to throw anything at me, but they're probably more dangerous. So this is a tough decision, to be honest. But I think I'm going to charge the bears and hope that I can put some more damage out and really take away that threat. So we're going to do that. So the way the charging works is you just have to be able to get 1 model in base contact with the enemy model, and then the rest of the unit kind of just follows along and will also be able to participate in the melee. Your opponent is going to get to punch back if you charge them. Normally, if you're fighting, if you're already stuck in, you won't get to punch back. But in this case, we are both going to fight each other. So this unit has 9 Bound Dead and 1 Super Bound Dead. I forget what they're called. Super Bound Dead. They're called the Undying Champion, the guy in the front. So he's got a much better weapon, so I'm going to roll that separately. So the way that this is going to work is I have a fight stat of 5, but because I charged in, I will get a +1 to my stat for being the aggressor. And you will have your fight stat of whatever your fight stat is, but you'll be at a -1 because I have an ability called Dreadful that makes it harder for you to hit me, because I'm scary, even though you're a polar bear. So I'm going to roll 9 dice.
I am also going to roll 9 dice.
For my clubs, which are a generic weapon, so they're not going to do anything fancy. They have no particular stats. And then I'm going to roll 1 die for the Macroeagle, which is a much better weapon. So these are going to need 6s. So I'm looking at 6 hits with clubs. And then the Macroeagle is going to have a +1 to the fight value, so this needs a 7. And that will pass on a 6. So this is going to be a harder save as well.
All right. So my save is 7. So we'll do the standard ones first.
Okay.
I don't care.
Wow, pass all of them. Excellent.
And then the Macroeagle, that is strength 2, right?
Yep.
So I would need a 5.
There you go.
I pass it.
Wow. Okay. This is going great so far.
All right, so now the bears go. They're normally fight 7, but they're now fight 6 because you were very spooky.
Yep.
That is cocked. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 hits.
6 hits. And
All
it
right.
is strength 1.
Strength 1. So the Bound Dead have a save of 5. That goes down to a save of 4. That one's cocked. So we pass 2, and we are going to lose 4 Bound Dead. Guys, this was a bad plan. Now,
That scene got a little grisly.
yeah. So they are going to take brave markers for each point of damage that they take, which is 4 in this case. And that is going to mean that it's harder for them to activate later in the turn. Yeah.
So normally, if you lose in melee, what you would do is you would just take a brave check. If you take that brave check, it's going to be modified by how many brave markers you have, like always. And if you fail, your unit will flee the battle, moving full move 10 inches, to double your movement, which is usually 10 inches, directly towards your table edge.
Right.
But I think that those guys are undead, so they get to ignore that.
So I have the dreadful characteristic, which means I do not have to take that check. I will just stay there and keep fighting the polar bears, even though obviously this was a terrible idea. And with that, we are down to our 3s. So I believe that makes it your turn.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I'll activate them. Can I shoot into melee?
You can shoot into melee, but it'll be at a negative
-1
modifier.
So it'll be -2 total because you're spooky.
Yep.
Where if I charge, you'll get to fight me back.
Indeed.
Do they have another rule? Because Dreadful doesn't let you stay.
Was it not?
Is it their undead?
Living Dead.
Living dead.
Living Dead, not Dreadful.
Living dead.
Dreadful means you get penalties when you're fighting me. Living Dead means I don't have to
Yeah.
take a check to play.
I think I am going to set myself up for a future turn
Okay.
and just march.
Probably smart.
I don't care about no stinky undead.
So that's a 10-inch move.
Yep, 10-inch move.
All right. And with that, we will go back over to. You're out of 3s, yeah?
I am out of 3.
So we're down to 2s, and that means that I will go first. All right, so I get to choose either of the 2 activation dice, so I'm going to choose the commander and activate him. He's cool because he has magic, and he's actually magic level 3, which means that when he uses the action to cast magic, he can actually cast up to 3 spells. Normally, when I try to cast spells, an opponent's magic user that's within, I believe it's 20 inches, can try to roll lower than me and cancel that magic spell, but the Inuits don't have any magic in the starter box, so I can just do what I want. So first we're going to advance up the table. That gets us a little bit closer to our friends up here that are locked in combat with the polar bears. And then we have 3 options for magic. Basically, the options here are give them more armor, heal some models, or give them a bonus to their future brave checks for the rest of the turn. So the brave test thing is really not going to help me a ton, but I do want to get some armor on there for the next time they fight those bears, and I do want to heal some of them if I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Curse of Servitude, which is going to potentially heal some of them, and this is a casting value of 12. So I'm going to roll 2 dice anytime I cast magic, and I need to roll under a 12. So I rolled a 7, so the magic is successful. And what that means is I'm going to heal D3 plus my caster level in miniatures to the target unit.
Then your guess level's 3.
Yep.
I'm going to hex that and dispel it with my blessing.
Okay, so you are using your blessing, and that is just going to effectively cancel my spell, right?
Yes.
Does that happen after I roll?
I think
It's after you
I
roll.
think it's after you roll. So
Okay.
if you miscast, you won't have to use it.
Right.
If you don't, or not miscast, but if you don't.
Okay, so they do not heal, but we are going to try to give them some armor. So, Armor of the Gods needs a 14, same target. So that is a 12. So now they are going to have a +2 to their save bonus for the rest of the turn.
They come with the Elish spirits.
And do I want to do? Yeah, we'll target the same unit with Tlaloc's Edict. So this is going to give them a bonus to their Brave stat to make them a little bit harder to get rid of. And this has a casting value of 16, so I need under a 16. That is a 14, so that succeeds. And that is the end of the High Priest's activation. Over to you.
All right. I will activate the harpooners. They're gonna move. And then they are going to shoot at the eagles.
All right, so because not quite half of my models are obstructed, the line of sight is obstructed by the terrain, it looks like I won't have cover from you. So this will be unobstructed, but you are not focusing, so do you have me in short range, or does it not matter for this weapon?
I only have a short range.
All right, so you're just running your normal stat.
Looks like I hit you 4 times.
4 times as many. Eagle Warriors have the save on a 5. Is there any kind of strength on this?
No modifiers on that.
All right, so I need under 5s. We save 3, and we take 1.
So when you are wounded by this, you're pulled twice your movement directly towards me.
Twice my movement.
Yes.
Can we get into melee combat?
You have to stay at least 1 inch away.
All right, so I will move right up into your face. All right, so that puts me right up in your business, and we are back over to 2s.
Good luck.
I'll activate the Banded Marauders, and unfortunately I don't think they're going to be able to do much, but I think we're going to march and just advance up the board. All right, so they're just going to take a double move to get up into the middle of the board and kind of put some pressure on both sides, and then it's back over to you. I'm done.
All right, I will activate these bowmen, who will focus shoot at your big scary dudes.
Big scary dudes, so you'll take the -1 penalty because we're big scary dudes.
Let's just check the range, see if I'm in long range. So it's going to be a net total of -1. Just +1 for the focus.
Got it.
So force, I hit 2 times.
2 times. Banded Marauders, I have paid for the upgrade, so they actually have 2 health apiece. And any strength on that weapon, or is it just bows?
No, it's just a standard bow.
Okay, so they are going to save on 6s. Why is there a parentheses save for them? They don't have armor. Oh, they do have light armor. I'm sorry. So they have light armor, so they're actually saving on 7s. 1 passes, 1 fails. So one of them is going to take a point of damage, and they will take a brave marker. I don't know how to track the health, but we'll just have to remember if they have it on the All right, and you still got 2.
Yeah, so I guess I will go with the bears, who are going to maul these filthy zombies.
Gross. Good thing I have extra armor, huh?
So fight 7 down to 6.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a pretty good roll.
That's a pretty good roll. So
And it's strength 1.
Strength 1, so that puts my save down to a 4, but I get a bonus of 2, so that puts it up to a 6. I can also choose to apply some of that damage to the leader, who has the toughened ability, which means I get to reroll 1 of his. So I'm going to choose to take 1 on him. So he needs a 6. He passes. That's 1. And then it was 9 total?
8 total.
Okay, so these are just on everybody else, and we'll see if they can stick around. That's not terrible. It looks like I take 3. It's not fantastic, but it's not terrible. And once again, they're going to take some brave, but they're also going to stay there because they're not scared of you. They're going to go up to 7. And you got 1 left.
Alright, my Tuvok Master is going to charge your Eagle Warriors.
Alright, so because you're charging me and I have a ranged attack and I'm not currently locked in melee, I will shoot you on your way to me. Is there a penalty for that, Overwatch?
-1.
You're shooting, yeah. You're shooting at a charging unit, so
Their shoot is a 5, so that goes down to a 4, and I'll take 4 dice. I hit you once.
Okay, I have a 6. Alright.
And you pass. But you will take another brave.
Go to the melee.
Okay, so you take a brave token for me hitting you, even though you saved it, and now you're punching me.
Alright.
Luckily, my Eagle Warriors have swords, so I'm also going to be able to attack you back.
Oh, they also have thrown weapons, so I'm going to throw my spears at you as I come in.
Alright. It's going to be carnage. At a -1. Oh, no, they don't have...
Yeah, so I hit you 1 time, and it's strength 1.
Actually, so they have an ability called dodge, so they actually give you a -1 for the dodge because they move this turn. Okay. So because they have the dodge ability and they already move, that puts you at a -1. Does that one still hit you? Roll?
No, because I rolled exactly my stat.
Okay, so that will miss. And now we are into the melee.
Alright, so my Tuvok Master has 3 attacks. And I am fight 6, so I'm 7 because I charged. Looks like that's 5 hits.
5 hits. I don't like that. So we're gonna have 1 on the boss man because he's got toughen, so he gets to reroll once. And my save will be. Is there any strength?
That's strength 1 on all of these.
Strength 1, so he's gonna be saving on a 4 with a reroll. Oh, I'm sorry. I have light armor, so I actually have a 6 save. So that goes down to a 5. So that fails, but I get a reroll. That fails too, so the leader will die. And then we get 4 more. Let's see if you wipe the unit. On 5s. So only 1. But I will take 2 and go up to 3. Now, the fight happens simultaneously, so I will actually still get all of them punching you back. And because I have a sword, I will be at +1 to my fight value at strength 1. So their fight is on a 5, so I will go up to 6s. That's going to be 2 hits at strength 1.
Alright, first one I'll put on the Master. He is save 7, so down to 6. I'll roll that, that's cocked.
Yep.
Passes.
Okay.
And then the other guy. Passes.
Wow. Alright, these guys are hard to remove. Remember that points differential? You technically have an advantage here. This is not fair. I'm calling shenanigans. Alright, so I think that is the end of the turn, so you're going to actually take out your... Oh, well, actually, first, you're going to take a Brave check. So they have a Brave stat of 8. Oh, no, they have a Brave stat of 7 because the leader died. And then they have a penalty of 3 because we have 3 Brave markers.
And you get +1 if you're within 10 inches of a heroic figure.
We don't get a bonus from the hero figure, so we need a 4 or less. I fail. So I actually get another Brave marker, and then I run away.
Because you had an opponent flee from you in combat, your engaging unit gets a free consolidation, which is a move in any direction.
I will move this way.
Gross.
I think it's time to start building my icons.
Alright, so that's the end of the turn. Nobody did any objectives quite yet, so there won't be any points. We're going to police our dice. He has already cleared off the 3 casualties I inflicted that don't go until the end. And then we will start turn 2.
Yeah, buddy, hand wipe.
Gross. If you're enjoying this video and you want to support the channel, then there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. The first would be to pick up some merchandise through my merch store. You can grab a t-shirt, a hoodie, a mug, a sticker, all sorts of cool stuff like that. You can also shop using my affiliate links, so if you're going to make any purchases from any of these companies, you can use the links in the description below to make your purchases, and it will go directly to supporting the channel at no extra cost to you. There's also a link for my Ko-fi if you would just like to give me a tip, or my Patreon if you want to support me longer term. I have a bunch of different tiers there, and there are all sorts of benefits available to people, such as early access to videos, ad-free videos, the opportunity to vote in polls about upcoming content, and extra entries into the giveaways that I run occasionally. But if none of that is your cup of tea, no problem at all. Just make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and leave a like on the video. It actually helps a tremendous amount. And if you want to go the extra mile, then consider sharing the video out with some friends who you think might find it interesting. The YouTube algorithm is not kind to small YouTubers, so that helps a whole bunch. Other than that, consider joining the Discord, also linked in the description, where you can come and hang out with me and the rest of the community and talk games. But with that, let's get right back to the video. Hey, Father Time, you're the expert here. We just finished turn 1, and so far I have his commander up in my business, wiping out my Eagle Warriors. I charged some polar bears and got absolutely demolished for it.
Okay.
How do you like my odds here?
Not good.
No, not good. I don't think so.
I'm thinking, where's your buffing? How come you guys aren't completely, totally buffed up?
I tried, but he used the blessing to cancel my heal.
I heard that.
And I would have had, that unit would be at full strength if he hadn't done that. So that was probably a good move.
Well, if they weren't buffed, why'd you charge?
Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made.
I can't.
You have to respect the Bears.
I should have respected
Honestly,
the Bears.
it sounds like you do.
I should have respected the Bears. That's fair. All right, well, let's find out if we can have these Marauders get in there and do some damage to those big mountains. We're on to turn 2 here, so
Turn 2.
Tell us what we do for initiative. It's a little different this time.
Yeah, so now we're gonna, just like we did at the start, gather up all of our unit activation dice and roll them. But this time, rather than assigning them and deploying them, we're just gonna put them all in a line. Who rolled the most 6s?
We
Tied.
both rolled
You tied.
one.
Who rolled the most 5s?
Tied.
Who rolled the most 4s?
Tied.
Who rolled the most 3s?
Tied.
Who rolled the most 2s?
He did.
Tied. Oh no, actually, I have 2 2s. Yeah.
Who's gonna go first?
Me?
Right. So activate a 6, and then Jeff will activate a 6 afterwards.
I am
but
gonna-
Let's pull these out and line them
pull
up.
your,
just so we
pull
can
your
see 'em.
dice out and put them somewhere that both players can see.
Yeah, put them like right behind the. Yeah, that's fine.
These dice won't change for the round, and you're going to alternate activating within numbers. So it looks like it's going to be, what? Kevin, Jeff,
We'll just alternate
Kevin,
out.
Jeff, Kevin, Jeff, Kevin, Jeff, Kevin. Literally alternating activations. We did
Yep.
it.
And this time we get to use them on anybody we want. So this is just determining the order. It's not determining what units are activated.
I'm going to spend it on the Bears.
Shocking.
Wow.
I need to get rid of this
That seems...
this weed before it regrows.
They'll be back if you don't kill them. And I've lost my buff now because it's a new turn. So
sweet. I agree with you. Very sweet.
6s to hit.
you are still at a -1 to hit though.
So I hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times at strength +1.
All right. I still have my commander and he's toughened, so he'll get a reroll. I'm gonna assign him 2 of the hits, and the rest will take the other. So they're saving on force. So these are for the regular guys. So one of them dies, and this is for the commander because I have 1 opportunity to reroll, so I'll roll these independently. So that's he passes the first one, and he fails, but he gets a reroll, and he fails. So we are down to 1 guy.
Nice.
I painted 2 of them.
I will take 2 more of these. That puts me at 9. If I ever get to 150% of my brave, I will be destroyed or flee.
Off the table.
I will be destroyed. I have a brave of... Oh, now that my commander's dead, I have a brave of 6. So they just... Goodbye.
That's it.
I needed to pass that reroll save, and that was close.
Yeah, that one living dead guy was so upset about those bears. He was like, "No, thank you.
That's fair.
I must go."
So things are looking bad on that flank. But now the way that this is going to work is basically just my lowest initiative just goes away because that unit is dead. But that is the bears because it's a double action, long action. What's the terminology?
Yeah. If you're doing a fight action, it's a double. It's a double action. So that is their 2 that they've done.
So we will go over to me.
Our sisters have gone.
Do I want to try to heal my eagles before you kill them? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign that die to the Eagle Warriors. And when I activate them, I'm going to use the Healing Salve Blessing. So when I assign a die to a friendly unit that has lost models, I get to add D3 models back to that unit if it's a humanoid or a beast. So I will roll this D6. Hopefully it's high. So they'll get 2 back.
Oh wow,
That's a lot of stuff.
So we are doing...
They
We're doing okay here. But now that we've healed back 2 of our guys, we have an issue because we have to take a brave check in order to activate. Now, I will be at a penalty of 4 on that brave check, which means I have to roll under a 4, which is not great. What happens if I fail that brave check?
You'll also have an additional penalty because you're fleeing.
I will also have an additional penalty because I'm fleeing.
-1.
What happens if I fail
So
that
if you
check?
fail that brave check, you will continue to flee.
Okay.
And
if I run off the board, I die.
If you run off the board, you die, and fleeing is double your movement. The position that they're in right now, they're definitely going to make it to the board edge. So
Okay.
they're going to be dead.
But I can rally, regroup.
Yes, if you weren't fleeing, you could do that. As it stands currently, you're fleeing, so the first action you have to take.
Don't I take a check
is
to see if I
fleeing.
stop fleeing at the end of the...
No, that's frozen to see if you unfreeze. So if a unit fails its check at the start of its activation or gets prone, you'll become frozen. And at the end of every turn, you can try and become unfrozen. But fleeing is a start of activation thing. You have to, if you're fleeing, your only option as your start your action is to take your first action to stop fleeing. Because you got to stop running. Otherwise, you're going to flee more. So they're in a bad way, Jeff. You basically have to roll. What's their, how many brave tokens they have right now? 4. Yeah, so you have to roll -5. So you need a 1 or 2, or that unit's going to go. Plus side is if you do make it, they'll lose a brave check for passing that brave check, can stop fleeing, and then you can try and regroup to lose more of those brave markers.
So I have
but-
a different blessing that would let me automatically pass a brave test. Does the fleeing check count as a brave check?
Well,
test,
your
or is
unit
that
activation check is
different.
I don't know. That's a good question.
If a unit is fleeing, I have a blessing that lets me automatically pass a brave check.
Yep.
Can I use that on the fleeing check?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna wreck on that a little bit, and we're gonna say that instead of healing, because otherwise I'll just die, we're gonna have them automatically pass a brave check. In addition, I will remove a brave status marker, so I'm actually going to remove 2, 1 for passing the test and 1 for the ability. So they're automatically going to pass, and that means that I still now have to take a regular brave check to...
A regular unit activation check.
A regular unit activation.
It is worth noting that Jeff might have been able to avoid this if you had activated your character first.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Because any heroic figure can tell other units to try and stop fleeing before they activate, avoiding this problem.
But then
It's
I
a-
would
it's
have
an
been able to
action.
go. And
Yeah, then you would
Yeah,
have just
no,
go
for sure.
and
It's a timing thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're gonna do then is we're gonna take a check to see if we get to activate. We're looking at brave status of 8, and we're gonna have a 2-point penalty, so down to a 6. Pass with a 3, so we're gonna lose another brave token, which is key. And now I get to activate like normal. They're still full, right? That's just the
Yes.
leader of the bodyguards.
Yeah.
I feel like I
Minus
just-
1 action, because you stopped fleeing. That's one of your actions. So they can't charge.
Yeah.
You could shoot, you could move, you could build an altar, but you're on your board half, so that's probably not good.
I think we're gonna just shoot because I don't think there's much else I can do to keep them on the table. Although I could heal them next turn with another blessing, potentially, if you don't kill them. Decisions. I think I'm gonna move because I don't think they're gonna do much damage to you, and I want to put you in a worse position. So, although you could just come over here and do some objectives, they're gonna do the objectives anyway. All right, so they're just gonna run around the trees and get a little bit closer to some support over here, and then they are done with their activation. Over to you.
I think I will go with the bowmen.
The
I'm
bowman.
gonna
Serena?
focus and fire on them.
Demise
All right.
Eternal.
It's like I need 4s because it's long range, and you have dread, and I'm focusing for a +1, so it's a total net of -1.
Sounds good.
I hit 3 times.
3 times. I'm gonna. Did we decide that you have to take the hit on a leader first? If they're, I'm sorry, on a unit that is injured already? Or can I still spread them out?
Yeah, no, that units with multiple wounds I think have to die first.
So the way the order of operations here is going to be you applied 3 hits to my unit, so they're going to first take their saves out of 5. Do you have any strength on that?
No.
So they need 5s. So they failed 2 saves, and what happens is 1 has to be applied to the injured model, so this one is going to die. And then 1 is going to be applied to the commander. I am going to then get a reroll because he has toughen. So he's going to try again, and he will fail, so he will take a point of damage.
Toughened has not been paying dividends.
It has
right?
not. So we will go up to 3 Great.
Well, it helps a lot if your dice aren't defective.
It's true. It would help if I could roll good.
Yeah, but you can't. That's
Yeah.
why your YouTube channel is defective dice.
That's true.
And
That's what it
not-
says.
You went up to 3 brave?
Yes.
Is that because a model died or something?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should only be at 2 because in ranged attacks you can only.
Only get one.
Indeed. Okay.
And very rarely do you have to take a panic check from range. Only if they destroy 50% or more in the unit.
Yep.
Of the units. If you fall below 50% of your starting strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little less scary to get shot than it is to get bitten or hacked at with a sword. So that puts it back over to me, yeah?
I do imagine.
All right. So I will spend my 3 to activate the commander. The first thing we're going to do is try to heal those marauders because that sounds good. So this is going to have a casting value of 12. And we're going to roll 2 dice. This is important. That's a 15. Excellent. Things are going great for me. I love it.
Defective Dice living up to his name.
That's it.
Yep.
Let's try to give some armor to these Eagle Warriors in case he tries to finish them off. So this needs a 14. We pass on that, so they're going to get a +2 to their armor save, and then we will give a brave bonus to the Bounded Marauders because they're in a little bit of a tricky spot. So need a 16. That passes as well. So they have +2 to their brave. And I have one more action that I can take. So we're just going to move up the board so that we can get in scoring territory, and it's back over to you.
Okay. Well, I am going to activate these guys. And they're going to move up and build their stuff.
All right. So one action to move, one action to build an altar. And as long as you're still touching it at the end of the turn, you will gain a point.
Where is the exact point where I have to build it?
Past the halfway point.
Past halfway.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is a 4-foot table?
Yep.
Oh, I can do it already without moving.
All right.
So I could do that and then fire? Let's see if I have range.
I don't think you can see them.
Yeah. I don't have range anyway.
Yeah, like one or two of your guys can see them.
Yeah, so I'll put that there, and I have to be in base to base, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess I could aware or alert. What's the?
On alert.
Yeah.
What does on alert mean?
On alert is an action that you can take. You should use the 32 mil for altars. They're not the objective size. So on alert is an action that you can take that effectively lets you react when an enemy activates or gets close to you. It's the only way that you can use the countercharge action, but basically when a unit activates an enemy unit or moves within 10 inches of you, you get to take a single action. If they charge nearby, you could countercharge them, but otherwise you could move them, you could shoot them, you could rally or regroup rather.
Yeah.
Any of that stuff.
Cool. So they are on alert. They are ready to respond to any bad things that I might try to do, even though that probably won't happen. Let's see. And then it goes back over to me, and I only have one.
Yeah, I'm going to use one of my blessings now, Prox
All right.
Earthquake. I'm going to center a 3-inch point right here that's going to reduce any movement by 50%.
All right. That's pretty rude.
Until they fully cleared it.
So I think that might stop me from charging the polar bears with my big boys if I wanted to.
Yeah.
On that note, what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk up and build my own altar, even though these guys should not be my scheme runners, but it turns out that I don't really have a choice because I don't have much left to do.
Yep.
So let's advance up. Oh, they have to take an activation check first. So
Are they not undead? They're living dead?
They still have to take an activation check, right?
Do living dead have to take activation checks?
Yeah. I just don't have to take it when I lose in melee or when I get shot at. So the first thing they're going to do when they try to activate is take an activation check. They do have a brave bonus of 2, so their brave goes up to a 10, but it gets reduced by another 2 from the markers, so down to 8s. I pass with a 4, so I'm going to lose one of these, and they get to go. So they are just gonna take a walk up, and then they are gonna drop an altar of our own. All right. So I'm just gonna adjust my position to make a little bit to make it hard for him to get to that. And I believe that's on your side. Let me just double check that. Okay. So I have my altar there, and it is back over to you for your last 2 activations.
Okay. I will start with these guys.
All right.
They're going to walk and then try to fire their bows or their harpoons at them.
Okay. So I'm in the far, so I'll get covered.
So 4s. Does not hit.
All right. I like that.
And then these guys will charge you.
The boss man.
Yeah, boss man's gonna charge.
Pretty rude. I get my armor bonus though, luckily.
Here. They have 3 spears. Oh, you do also have dodge and you moved.
Yes.
So it's gonna be -2 total.
Yep.
I hit you once.
Okay.
Strength 1.
So they would save on 8s, but down to 7s because of your strength.
Yep.
So they pass.
You just get a
And
brave token.
I'll shoot you back. So 2 shots, and it's a negative. It's a penalty because you're charging me.
Yes.
So their shoot on a 5 down to a 4. Hit you once.
All right, on the leader, he's got a.
It's actually a 5 because the bows have a play. No, never mind.
He's got a 7. He's good.
Okay, so you'll take a break.
And then, I have to do an activation test.
Do they have a brave marker?
Yes.
Is that what that is? Okay.
They're good.
Okay, so that goes away and then it
and
comes back.
They had to do it as well.
So just to clarify, I don't know if we explained this, but the
That was cocked.
when you pass a brave check, you lose
They're
a
also
brave
good.
marker, and when you fail one, you gain one. So
Yeah.
it gets worse.
All right, so
Now we are fighting.
Yeah, melee. Looks like 3.
3 at
Strength 1.
strength 1. So this is going to be 7s again. I only have, well, I guess we roll first, right? So all of them pass.
Nice.
And I will hit you back with some swords, which is going to be +1 to my fight at strength 1. So fighting on a 5 up to a 6. 1 at strength 1.
Okay, so it's a 7 down to a 6. I'll put it on the 2 vodka.
You roll it first and then apply it.
All right, it's good.
Okay. So I have more brave than you after the fight, but if no one gets hurt, do we still flee?
Yeah, after any combat, you check if one player has more brave markers, they lost the combat and have to test see if they flee.
Okay, so we'll take a brave check to see if we flee. Brave is currently at an 8. Oh no, the commander is still dead, so it's at a 7, down to a 5 for my 2 markers. And I fail with a 0. With a 10. So I will gain a brave, and then I'll flee. This is actually not the whole board here. The table edge is about right here, so they're going to flee right off the edge of the board, and they'll die. Wonderful. This is going great.
Same. TBH. On flick.
All right. So that's the end of the turn. We both built an altar, so we will, and we are both still in base contact with it, so we will get a point. And we will go to turn 3. Okay, so we made a little bit of a
Or a
mistake.
behemoth, right?
We're not supposed to be
Or
able
a
to
behemoth.
But I could have just made it there instead.
create a pillar when you are not within 10 inches of a commander or behemoth. So technically, that wasn't allowed to get put there, but we're just going to let it ride because we're learning. So we have taken our activation dice back, and we are going to roll them for turn 3. I rolled bad.
I did not.
Attrition hurts a lot in this game because it means that I won't get activated soon, but that's okay. So this is going to be your top of the turn.
Who rolled more 6s?
Nobody.
I rolled more 5.
But he's got 2 5s, 2 4s, and a 3. You're just going to activate your entire army, and then I'm going to activate my 2 units. That's how this is going to go.
Wow.
Because I only have 2 units left.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna Dark Energy Funnel. So I choose one enemy unit, form a 1d3 Strength 2 shoot attack against it, and you don't have to be in line of sight. So do I have to pick it from one of my own models? Like, I don't understand how that works.
No, you just pick a unit and it gets shot from the
Just
from the magic
1d3
of-
hits at Strength 2?
Yeah.
Okay. There's one of these guys has 1 wound, right?
Yes. The commander, which is the guy with the sword.
Yeah. Maybe that might be better.
Alright.
Because then I could.
If you take him out, I pretty much can't fight.
Yeah. So I'm
Well, the
I'm
commander,
Gonna try
the
that.
leader can't fight, but not,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna
not
have
gonna take on your
a
whole
huge
army.
opportunity to wipe the. I'm gonna do the commander, 'cause
Okay.
then I can charge.
Okay.
So
D3 hits.
3
3 hits.
at strength 2.
Strength 2. So the High Priest is going to save on 5s. So I take 2. I will take 1 on the commander, so he'll get to re-roll it. So he'll pass, and one bodyguard will die.
Then I'm gonna activate the Nanite Guardians.
Okay. Mr. Bear.
They will come in and
Sadly,
fudge them up.
Sadly, I do not have any ranged weapons, so I can't hit you on the way in. But I will get to punch you while we.
Do you have Dread?
I do.
All right. So at 7 up to 8, down to 7.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 at strength 1.
All right. And I will. Well, I guess I'll roll those first. See what happens. 6 at strength 1, you say.
Yes.
Saving on 4s. So that's cocked. So I will take 4, and I don't think I can live that, so they'll just die because I don't get a reroll.
Yeah.
I only get 1. Oh, I'm sorry. He has nothing 2.
Okay. So there's a chance.
Does he have nothing 2? He also has 3 health, so actually I can live this.
Yeah.
Magic level. No. Yes, he's stuffing 2 and 3 wounds. So I get at least 1 more reroll on the boss. So I'll take one of them on the bodyguard and he'll die, and then I will take a reroll for tough end on the boss. That passes. So he will take 2 damage and he will be left on 1 health.
Okay.
And they all get to attack you back. So he's going to attack as well as the little dude. So I will roll my attack with the Mac. So this is going to be at +1 to my fight, which will be 6s. That will pass on a 3. And then a 5 for the club, which will pass on a 2. So you have a save at strength 2 and a save at flat.
Okay. So my toughness, or my save is 7 on the Nanite Guardians. So we'll do the 5 first.
Okay.
Passes.
Right.
And then the 7 passes.
Gross.
Yes. These bears are unstoppable.
All right. And I will take 3 of these. Because, and keep going.
Is that a flee check now, or
Yes, it is.
Brave check.
No, they don't have to take a break.
He's on
They're
dead.
melee.
he's living undead?
Is it Dreadful or Living Dead?
Living dead.
Living.
Never mind, he does have to take a check.
Yeah, because the unit guy isn't.
So he's Brave 8, so I need under a 4. I pass.
Good.
And I lose a. Do you lose a token for passing a?
If you pass,
flee?
yeah.
Okay.
Anytime you pass a brave check, you lose it.
Down to 3.
Alrighty. Looks like they are within. Is it a majority or is it?
Just each.
You
Each?
bet, yeah, each
Okay.
one must check.
So 3 are going to be at flat, and then 2 are going to be at -1 because they're a focus shoot.
Shooting the Marauders?
Yeah, the Marauders.
Okay, so then we got another -1 for.
Dreadful.
Dreadful.
That's where it's +1 for the
Okay.
focus shoot. So,
Yep.
so these are flat.
-1 because combat.
They're not in combat.
They're not coming.
They're the bears? No?
No.
He's shooting at the Marauders. They're not.
So that's
okay.
2 hits on that, and then these ones need 4s. So 3 hits total.
Marauders are gonna save on 7. Pass. Oh, that's a 9.
Yeah.
1 fails. I'll take the reroll now. Fails.
I don't think you've successfully rerolled a single save.
Oh, it's been a good time. Up to 2. Guys, I have 2 models left on the board. This is a good time.
I guess I could charge. I'm gonna eat a ton of shit, but I might be able to finish off the unit. At the very least, I'll pin him down. So I'm gonna do that.
Okay. And again, I don't have any ranged weapons, so
Yeah.
you'll just be able to run in, throw some spear. Do you
I
have
have to do
spears?
a brave check first.
All right, let's see if you can roll a 10.
I do have spears. Nope.
Still good.
So he loses that.
All right, do you have spears you can throw at me on the way in?
I do.
Nice.
So these are gonna be a -1 because of dread.
Yep.
So 4s. 1.
Okay.
Strength 1.
So need a 7. All right, 6. Pass.
Okay. And then these
But I will
are
take a brave.
6. It's +1 for charging, -1 for dread.
Yep.
So 1, 2, 5 at strength 1.
It doesn't look good. Need 6s. All right, well, I'll be dead after I punch you. so I get 2 fights each with huge max, and that's going to give me a +2 to my fight. So I'll fight on 8s. I hit you twice at strength 2.
Okay. Strength 2.
You roll first and then apply them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Pass 1, fail 1. I'll apply to the guardian or the master and use his toughened 1. He's good.
All right. So ineffective. And Errata. For anyone who might be concerned about how uneven this is, he does have about a 50-point advantage on me. So
Yeah.
the starter boxes are not perfectly well balanced. But that's just the nature of the game.
These guys will move 5. Stay within 10. And they're gonna build.
All right. So getting some points on the board. Is that your last activation, or do we still have these guys over here?
I still have those guys who are going to march.
March, march. All right. So we're up on the pyramid. And do I get to go now?
It is now your turn.
Wow, I get to play the game too. Okay, well that went away because that
Allegedly.
unit died, and I have 1 die for my 1 model. So we screwed up a few things with magic earlier, and we got some clarification. So first thing we want to know is that we cannot cast magic while we're engaged in melee. So all I can do is fight you. The other more important thing is that I thought when you used the magic ability, you casted a spell per your magic level, which I was at 3, so that's why I was casting 3 magic. That's not the case. It is 1 per action. Do I have that right? It's 1 per action to a max of 2. So I got a couple of extra magic spells before, but clearly it didn't help me. So that's fine. So what I will do is I will just punch you in melee, but you don't get to punch back because I'm not charging you. So I have a Macroheedle, so this is +1 to my fight of 5, so I need 6s. 1 hit at strength 2.
All right.
Have I hurt the bears yet?
You have not hurt the bears yet.
Great.
They're 1 wound models currently.
Strength 2?
7 down to 5, so it passes.
Wow. I couldn't even get 1 bear down before
Yeah.
before the horrible things happened.
Wow.
To be fair, you targeted them with the right things. It's just I rolled
Yeah.
very well
So
on
it
their
was,
side.
it was
Look, they're
pretty good.
not, they're not guarding the nuke for nothing.
Yeah.
There's it's called DefectiveDice for a reason. That's why I play card games. So at the end of that turn, you'll score another point for 2 because you got another objective. I still just have my 1 and I haven't broken any. So I think at that point we can call it because I have 1 model left and you have most of your army.
Yeah. I've barely taken any casualties.
But your bears haven't taken casualties, so that's a bad pun on the merits. You know, pretty upset about that.
I hate everything. So that went about as poorly as it could have.
Well, you're about to be eaten by a Wendigo, but Kevin's gonna get his head ripped off. So
Yeah, so in the end, we both lose.
This is our punishment for the catastrophe that just happened. But that I don't know that that's necessarily representative of a real game because again, a little off balance. We didn't really make any serious decisions in list building. It was just to kind of show what the basic rules are, how the interactions work.
I mean, it was an incursion level, but incursion really I think is for learning it, right?
And the smaller points games can be more swingy. So
Yeah.
having the initiative rolls work out the way they did was huge for me. Because I basically got 2 turns in a row back to back, you know, and at that points level, that's hard to recover from.
Yeah. The other thing too is I think in my deployment I screwed up a little bit because the fact that when you're deploying things determines the order they get to activate in.
Yeah, that's
becomes a very important decision, which I think is really interesting. I really like the way that the initiative works in the game. It means that you have a lot of important decisions to make, and unfortunately sometimes you get screwed. But it also means that you kind of want to build. You're going to change the way you do your list building because you want to build more. You want to have more units available, so you get more dice to roll for initiative and potentially choose who's going to go first. So I think that's a really interesting dynamic, and I think hopefully we'll record some stuff with some higher point values and show some more normal size games. Ish.
Nice. Yes. Me too. Can't wait. Rad game.
Check out the Danger Planet. Shout out to Brandon who is behind the camera. Check out
Brandon.
the Danger Planet for some other upcoming stuff on the gameplay itself. We did record some stuff yesterday with a bigger game with some playtest stuff, some secret things in there.
Yeah,
It's
the
cool.
people love the totem.
Which is a faction that's not out yet. It's coming out at the end of the year. Which
That's
is
going to be a game changer for sure. I love the new deployment mechanics with that faction.
And water rules. Also, one time I was a totem.
That's true. But so stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for some more stuff that we're gonna have coming up with folks from the team talking about different aspects of the game. I think Brandon's gonna get them on to talk about rules design. I'm gonna have them on to talk about some of the lore and some of the cultures and the legends that they pull from. So all kinds of cool stuff coming up. Check it out.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, was I supposed to hit record?
Yeah. I want to send a huge thank you to the extremely cool kids here on Patreon, the Steam Powered Scoundrels, Dogmatized, Devin, and the Spilled Paint Pot. And thanks for watching.